Hello, and thank you for taking time this weekend to join us here on KREM 2 News. I'm Cody Proctor, and this is the KREM 2 News Weekend Review. We know life gets busy, and it can be tough to keep up with all the news. So let's get you updated on some of the headlines from this past week.
The public records we received from Spokane police include reports from 34 different officers who responded to the ICE protest. They detail the officers' account of the crowd's size and behavior, dispersal orders, and methods used to manage the protest. The protest started in the afternoon. By early that evening, reports say Spokane police officers descended on the gathering. Several police reports gave varying estimates on the size of the crowd, initially estimating 300 and grew to as many as 1,800 at its peak. Police officers say they observed several protesters blocking vehicles and damaging tires of a van and bus. One officer wrote, at one point, the crowds swarmed police and ICE vehicles. They say protesters locked their arms around the vehicles while federal agents were still inside. Reports say police gave the crowd orders to disperse around 7:15 p.m. Police say they announced the orders again 5 or 6 more times and say nothing changed. Several officers noted their use of less lethal munitions to disperse the crowds, specifically 4mm blue nose impact munitions, known as pepper ball launchers, and hand-tossed OC munitions, also known as pepper spray. One officer says he saw a suspect in the crowd throw at least 2 munition bottles at the heads of other officers. In his report, the officer outlined the following: the threat posed by the suspect, their resistance to leave the area, his effort to de-escalate through multiple verbal warnings, and the officer's use of an impact munition as the least amount of force. Reports say police worked with federal agencies, making 30 arrests, which included Spokane's former City Council President Ben Stuckert, seen here in this body camera video. Former City Council President Ben Stuckert, who initiated the protest, is currently facing federal charges for conspiracy to impede or injure officers. The trial for those charges is currently set for September 22nd. Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Well, right beside me are some of the bullet holes left in the drywall in the garage. These are some of the last remaining remnants from a drive-by shooting on Saturday night. It took only seconds for gunfire to ruin Jennifer Ayers' Saturday night.
It was complete chaos out here. My first thought was, oh my God, thank God the kids got out of the hot tub. They were in the hot tub 5 minutes prior.
What happened, according to Spokane County Sheriff's Office, was a drive-by shooting. Now bullet holes riddle parts of her family's property.
Here they're all still marked with the white stickers.
Yet even with the damage, Ayers is thankful no one was hurt.
So very grateful, especially given the amount of people here and the amount of shots that were fired. I'm amazed that nobody was injured.
The sheriff's office arrested 32-year-old Robert Utek hours later for the reported shooting. He made his first appearance in Spokane County Superior Court Monday. It's not the family's first interaction with Utek. Last year, he reportedly shot Ayers' husband in the foot over a dispute. The sheriff's office says those charges were dropped, believing it was self-defense. Since then, the family's received a protection order against Utek, which he reportedly violated Saturday night. Utek now faces charges for drive-by shooting, 5 counts of assault first degree, and 2 counts for violating the protection order. As for Ayers and her family,
there's comfort knowing that he is in jail right now. We definitely have fear of what happens next if he is released.
Utek is expected to make another court appearance later this month for his arraignment. His bond has been set at $500,000. In Newman Lake, Cody Proctor, KREM 2 News.
Days after 2 fires broke out along Centennial Trail before noon on Saturday.
I have Sarah Beal, Your Honor, number 2 on the docket.
Sarah Beal sat before a judge facing charges involving fire yet again. The Spokane Sheriff's Office says Beal was initially arrested for an unrelated misdemeanor warrant for abusing the 911 emergency reporting system when deputies found probable cause to charge her with 2 counts of second-degree arson as well. Beal is a repeat offender in Spokane County after she was initially arrested for arson in the second degree back in 2023, which was later pled down to reckless burning in the second degree.
And that is not an extremely dated conviction either.
Court documents from September 2023 show Beal admitted to deputies that she intentionally set her car on fire near North Barker Road because, quote, nobody will help her.
Ms. Beal does have a history of this type of behavior, which indicates also that there's a high likelihood of repetition of this conduct if Ms. Beal is released.
After months of hearings, Beal later pled guilty to criminal mischief and reckless burning in the second degree in February of last year. Beal served close to 5 months in jail following the guilty plea and a year of community supervision. Now Beal is being charged with 2 counts of arson in the second degree. The sheriff's office says during her arrest over the weekend, deputies noticed things like a large amount of pillow stuffing, a box of matches, and a can of flammable hairspray inside of her purse. This later helped deputies develop probable cause after a preliminary investigation showed a flammable substance like hairspray was used to start these fires.
And this conduct was extra dangerous, noting the time of year that this allegedly took place during fire season.
The Spokane Valley Fire Department says despite there being only 2 fires on Saturday, one location had 16 starting points with things like stuffing and matches found in or near the burn areas. According to the Washington State Legislature, arson in the second degree is a Class B felony and can carry a sentence of up to 10 years.
Welcome back to the KREM 2 News Week in Review. It's been a busy week across the Inland Northwest, and we want to help catch you up on some stories you might have missed.
City of Spokane's proposed ordinance, Public Dollars for Public Benefit, aims to boost the local workforce in Spokane. But the Inland Northwest Associated General Contractors argue it's an unworkable practice.
The proposed ordinance, Public Dollars for Public Benefit, is supported by City of Spokane Councilman Paul Dillon.
Really, it's about making sure that people land on their feet, that they have an opportunity to get these really good jobs through Public Works.
Dillon told KREM 2 it's designed to hire workers from historically excluded or underrepresented communities to ensure a diverse workforce and to keep jobs and the economy local. But Cheryl Stewart, who represents both union and non-union construction contractors through the Inland Northwest Associated General Contractors, says the proposal would create less competition and increase bidding prices for public works projects.
It's an open competition. Everyone should be able to compete for city work. And this is excluding people from being able to compete for city work unless they do business the way the city tells them to do business, which is affiliating with a union.
Stewart added the ordinance would add more barriers to an already difficult staffing market and increase administrative burdens.
The intent is great. I mean, I think we're all for local hire and putting people to work. We have a huge workforce development issue in the construction industry. We just simply don't have enough workers.
However, I'm told the ordinance goes even further. Tony Edwards with the Western States Regional Council of Carpenters, who was in support of the proposal, said the ordinance also establishes accountability.
I mean, the more work that's going on, there's more opportunity for criminal contractors to step in and do the things that they do with wage theft and misclassification.
The ordinance is set for its first reading on August 18th, and Inland Northwest AGC tell me they will be there to voice their opposition. I'm reporting in Spokane, Rican Gallo, KREM 2 News.
The county shared a letter with me. County CEO Scott Simmons not only declined the city council's request to help pick Scrap's new director, he says the county is preparing to move forward on Scraps without the city's partnership.
Last week, Spokane City Council asked to be part of selecting a new director for Scraps. Michael Cathcart spearheaded the effort in hopes of greater transparency and collaboration.
There's an opportunity here for us to rekindle our relationship when it comes to Scraps and to really see some improvements that the community wants.
Now that relationship may be burning out entirely. In an August 1st letter, County CEO Scott Simmons declined the help, saying the city's a customer of the county's Scraps services. He also said the city hasn't indicated it plans to renew its Scraps contract, which ends December 31st. Simmons says since they're midway through budgeting for 2026, the county is moving forward
as if Spokane will provide its own animal protection.
For the county to play this sort of role of just giving us the boot, and frankly, not even taking a vote or anything like that, just a letter from the CEO, not even signed by one or five commissioners, basically kicking us out is kind of just, I don't know. I'm kind of beside myself that this is even a discussion point.
Cathcart says the city has looked into standing up its own animal control or working with someone else, but no decisions had been made.
The study that's ongoing right now is not even finished.
He says he hopes discussions with the county aren't over yet. He's optimistic a resolution can be reached. Our repeated efforts to reach Simmons for an interview were unsuccessful. I also reached out to Mayor Lisa Brown's office. Spokesperson Aaron Hutt referred me to speak with members of council about the letter, specifically Councilmember Cathcart. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Coeur d'Alene City Council passed a resolution to help United Way North Idaho to better assist families when it comes to child care cost. They say that the need's only grown in recent years. Silence spoke volumes at Tuesday night's Coeur d'Alene City Council meeting. It came before a unanimous vote in favor of a resolution to readjust how existing city funds get allocated to help families. United Way North Idaho helps dozens of families in the community who are struggling with child care costs through a scholarship program. It targets asset-limited, income-constrained employed families, or ALICE. The city allocates roughly $35,000 for United Way to do just that. A qualified family receives $350 a month for a maximum of 3 months. The issue the nonprofit wants changed is having more than one child in a family being able to receive the funds. It also changes the maximum monthly amount given per child.
These proposed changes will help ensure the program remains effective and responsive to the realities families are facing today.
Sarah Welch oversees the nonprofit's scholarship program. She emphasizes the importance of this change to help reflect what she says is a growing need for more child care support.
I feel that making these changes to the scope of services will help United Way to more effectively support those ALICE families.
Sherry Badager with the city presented the information to council before voting in favor of it. The only question before voting came from Councilmember Christy Wood, asking if families outside of Coeur d'Alene receive the funds as well. Badager clarified the nonprofit allocates city-received funds to its residents only and has other scholarship programs for people outside of the jurisdiction. Everyone with the nonprofit is excited to have more money going towards families in Coeur d'Alene they serve. Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
Thanks for joining KREM 2 News this weekend. I'm Cody Proctor. Right now, we're taking a look back at some of the news stories from the past week in this edition of the KREM 2 News Week in Review.
At just 12 years old, Siba Abu Abda is a double amputee. She says today she feels happy for the first time in a long time. Less than 24 hours ago, Siba, her mom, and 2 siblings arrived at the Seattle airport from Gaza. They're now staying with a host family in Bellevue so Siba can get prosthetic legs. Her mom says Siba sometimes has nerve pain.
She's very, very tired.
Siba's social worker interpreted as she talked about her hopes for the future.
She's gonna go back to walking, running, playing. She wants to go to school, play with her friends, and just go back to her normal life.
According to the nonprofit that arranged this trip, Siba was caught in an Israeli airstrike. Her legs were amputated above the knees.
To be able to get any child out is a difficult process. For example, Siba has a temporary wheelchair because the Israeli authorities confiscated her wheelchair.
Siba's escape comes amid a rising death toll in Gaza and reports of widespread starvation. According to the Washington Post, 18,500 children have died. Siba's mom painted a difficult life back home.
There's so much, there's not enough time to say everything.
Siba's father died in a different bombing in Gaza, and she has 2 more siblings ages 18 and 21 who are still there. The family hopes they'll be reunited.
Right now they're in school. They're at the school seeking shelter. She's very worried because you never really know. It could be okay right now, but in a few minutes it could all be gone.
But for now, Siba and her family are taking it one day at a time in a new city and with a new chance to dream. What do you want to be when you grow up?
Doctor. She wants to be a doctor.
And according to the nonprofit that's helping this family, Seba and her other siblings that are here in the U.S. will attend school here in Washington for a period of time before going to Egypt and hopefully reuniting with the rest of the family. In Bellevue, I'm Christian Balderas, King 5 News.
This is what scientists couldn't explain until now.
There was a disease outbreak that hit sea stars and caused them to sort of start twisting, and their arms would actually walk away from their bodies.
It's called sea star wasting disease, and for more than a decade, no one knew what was causing it.
What was happening is they were being infected by something called Vibrio pectinacida.
The bacteria, known as VPEC for short, can be spread in at least 2 ways, through water or direct contact with an infected sea star. Once the infection takes hold, it's almost always fatal.
In all the experiments that we've ran, once they start losing arms, they kind of lose all of their arms. And we haven't really seen anything survive after it started losing arms.
Now that the Hackeye Institute has pinpointed the cause, they can focus on treatment and containment.
The question of where did it come from, how did it get into the sea stars, that's a question that we haven't been able to ask because we didn't know what it was. And now that we know what it is, we can actually ask that question.
At the University of Washington, scientists are already working on recovery, growing sea stars in labs since 2019. Last summer, they released the first lab-raised stars into the wild and are tracking their survival. But this isn't just about a single species. This mass decline has triggered a ripple effect.
When we had this great big loss of these predators, we saw huge increases in their prey. And then their prey ate all the kelp.
Scientists say this unlocks new hope for restoring some balance to our ocean's ecosystems.
Now that we know what the pathogen is, we can start to help them maybe we can find individuals that are resistant to this disease, and they can start raising those ones. And so maybe we can try and raise more resistant sea stars to this pathogen.
For Environment Northwest, I'm Bridget Chavez.
Welcome back to the KREM 2 News, a week in review. I hope you're having a great weekend. Let's get back to one more story you might have missed this past week.
Well, how fun is this? We've got some real stars, some real athletes here in Spokane for the week. You're looking at one of them right here, Will Bailey from the UK, from London. You know, you traveled all the way over here. We appreciate you and, just being here in the Inland Northwest. For you, though, what is it about table tennis, man, that makes you just keep coming back? Or what was that initial spark where you're like, this is the sport I want to be in and I'm going to give my all?
Yeah, well, to be honest, my brother was really sporty. He's really sporty. He plays football. My dad was the football manager. And, I just started playing table tennis in hospital, actually, when I was recovering from an illness. And I beat my brother at it, and I could beat my dad at it, and it was the only sport I could beat them at. So I thought, I'm going to carry on. I want to get better at this, and I love it. It's a challenge, it's a fast sport. It's an unpredictable sport, a lot of spin, a lot of speed. And it's it's a tough sport, and that's why I love it.
And now it takes you all over the world, right? And, Olympics, things of that nature. How cool is that to be able to represent your country and represent not only your family, but, an entire nation?
Exactly. I'm so proud, I'm proud to be British, English, and, I want to try and bring gold medals, to our country, and I'm so proud.
Yeah, well, we're proud to have you here, and I'm proud that I've had an opportunity to learn with you. Is it all right if we hop on the table really quick, because Will's been coaching me up, and I'm just, I think since, the first time I played you, I think I've been improving a little bit.
You've improved a lot.
I used to keep getting it high up in the air. I'm really trying to focus. Yeah,
I like your little movements, your little shuffles. You got it.
Yes,
the alley shuffle.
That's right, my friend.
It's good.
That was one of my favorite athletes of all
amazing.
time.
Yeah, me too.
Obviously, it wasn't on the planet as Ali at the same time. Well, I was on the same planet, but to watch him live,
unbelievable. Yeah, it's big inspiration to me as well.
No doubt, man. Yeah. And for you, when you come to a new city like this, what's the mindset as you're getting prepared for this competition?
Mindset today is just to recover and to go in, and to win. I'm a winner, you know, I want to go and win, and that's all I'm thinking about, you know, taking it a game at a time, but
yes, sir,
just dominating everyone and being the best I can be, you know.
Yep. All right. Well,
Yeah.
let's wrap it up, my friend, and
Cool,
let me see a good return real quick. Is that?
Yo.
That's intimidating, man. Will Bailey, folks.
Cheers, bro.
Thank you so much, and we'll toss it back to you in the studio.
Thank you for spending part of your weekend with us on the KREM 2 News Week in Review. Be sure to keep it here on KREM 2 for more news and weather updates. I'm Cody Proctor. Thanks for watching.